For over a century, one question has haunted the American story. What really happened at the Battle of the Little Bighorn who killed George Armstrong Custer? The official reports are silent. The soldiers' accounts end with the gunfire, and history has been written by the victors, but seldom spoken by them, replaced by faint, whispering wind. The screen shows the script's text. I have never told it to white men before, until now. This is not another historian's theory. This is a deathbed confession, decades in the making. The first-hand, unflinching testimony of the last chief standing from that fateful day, the fearsome Hunkpapa Lakota warrior, rain in the face. He was there. He charged the line. He seized the flag. And he carried a personal, bloody vow into the heart of Custer's last stand. He names names, he exposes myths, and he answers the question everyone asks with a chilling, visceral truth that textbooks dare not print. This is the story they never wanted you to hear, the Indian chief's account of who killed Custer. Listen closely. This is history. Raw and unfiltered. Rain in the Face was a Hunkpapa Lakota Sioux leader and fighter, known for his important role in the 1876 Battle of the Little Bighorn, which resulted in the complete overthrow of Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer and his 7th Cavalry. He was famous for his bravery and strength in battle. Many also thought he carried a private resentment toward Custer, believing him responsible for the death of his brother and sister in a prior conflict. According to certain accounts, Rain in the Face was among those who charged Custer's position during the battle and may have been the one who landed the killing blow. However, this claim is debated among experts, and the exact circumstances of Custer's death remain unclear. Rain in the Face later turned himself in to American troops and spent time as a prisoner. After gaining his freedom, he advocated for the rights of Native people and became a notable figure in traveling Wild West exhibitions where he would share tales from his wartime experiences. But before we begin, please like and subscribe to our channel to support our growth. If you want to listen to a story, I will share a true one from my own life. I was a fearsome individual before I had to rely on crutches. My spirit is peaceful now, but it was fierce when I was a warrior and hunter. The women admired me, but the men were terrified of me. I enjoyed combat more than I enjoyed a meal. The Bluecoats were afraid of me, and the Ree and Crow warriors would check each dawn to be sure their scalps were still on their heads when I was in the area. I was a powerful figure, and my name was uttered with dread. Harry interrupted, knowing that Indian men often take pride in their exploits. We believe you were a formidable man, Rain, Harry said, but we want to hear about when Tom Custer captured you. If you were so brave, how did a smaller man like Tom Custer manage to subdue you? This query disturbed Rain, and his face darkened. He was a substantial man, standing 5 feet 9 inches and weighing 195 pounds, while Captain Tom Custer was of a slighter build. After a long silence, Rain gave his account, and to everyone's surprise, he went on to tell his version of what happened at the Custer fight. He spoke with strong emotion and intensity, recalling the details of that critical day. For many years, Army officers and Indian agents had tried to get Rain to talk about the battle, but he always remained silent. They used every tactic, being kind, making promises, and even using threats, but nothing worked. Rain is famously linked to Custer's death, and the poet Longfellow even wrote poetry about him. So it was a great surprise when Rain finally decided to tell his story. I am writing it down exactly as McLaughlin interpreted it. Rain said, 2 years before the major battle, Gall and Sitting Bull had their village at Standing Rock. All the Indians there were resisting the government. They were Hunkpapa Sioux, and they were afraid of no one. The Yanktonais were friendly Indians who stayed near the agency, trying to get food and supplies. We had a very good life in our hostile camp, with dancing, horse races, shooting contests, and games. We had plenty of buffalo and deer to eat, and many horses. The young women favored me, and they would tease me to make me angry. When I grew angry, I wanted to go to war. One night a girl dared me to go to Fort Lincoln and kill a white soldier. I told her it was too dangerous, with sentries always watching and re-scouts nearby. But she said, "A true warrior knows no fear. If you are frightened, do not go. I will ask someone else who is not scared, a man who has endured the Sundance." That was a dare I could not ignore. The other girls giggled, but the young men did not. They were scared of me, and I would have killed them for laughing. I went to my teepee, painted my face for war, and took my rifle, my bow, and my horse. I left the camp under cover of night and rode to Fort Lincoln, 45 miles to the north. I waited for 2 days, looking for a chance to shoot a soldier. I had chances to kill a Ree-woman or a man cutting wood, but I wanted to bring a soldier's brass buttons back to the girl who had taunted me. I succeeded, and she sewed them onto her blanket. One morning I saw the post trader and a veterinarian going to a spring. Long yellow hair and his troop were riding away about 100 yards off. I charged up, shot the trader, and hit the horse doctor with my club. Then I shot arrows into them and cut off some buttons. Long Yellow Hair heard the gunshot and turned his men back. I did not have time to take the scalps of the men I had killed. I leaped onto my horse and shouted at them to try and catch me. They chased me all the way to the Cannonball River. The next winter, I visited the agency store at Standing Rock. I was given no rations because I had not agreed to the peace treaty. The storekeeper, one arm, was there. I was not afraid of him or the 30 soldiers with the close-cut hair. He sneaked up behind me, and they all jumped on top of me. They threw me into a wagon and held me down until they reached the guardhouse at Lincoln. They treated me not as a chief, but with disrespect. They locked me in a room, put me in chains, and gave me only one thin blanket. The snow blew through the gaps in the walls and onto me all winter long. It was bitterly cold. One time, the one with little hair let me outside, and the soldiers told me to run. I knew they intended to shoot me in the back. I told the one with little hair that I would break free, cut out his heart, and consume it. I was shackled to a white man, and one night we broke loose. They shot at us, but we fled and concealed ourselves along the banks of the Heart River. The white man sawed through the chains with a blade, but they caught him the following day. I escaped, yet I knew they would hunt for me. I returned to Sitting Bull and Gall, but they were too fearful to retrieve me. I sent Little Hair an image of a bleeding heart drawn on a buffalo hide, so he would remember my promise. The next occasion I encountered him, I removed his heart. That is all I will say regarding that. We understood much of this was true, matching the official record of the trader and Sergeant Hunsinger's killings. But we wished to hear about Tom Custer's heart. McFadden presented Rain with a drawing of Custer's final charge and inquired if it looked correct. Rain examined it, then began to laugh loudly. "No, this image is wrong. The soldiers did not fight us using swords, but with rifles and pistols. They fought on the ground with every fourth man tasked with holding the horses. We secure ourselves to our ponies and battle in a circling motion. We remove our clothes and paint our bodies and our ponies. This picture depicts us using only bows, but we had superior weapons. Their rifles could fire only once with the cartridges jammed inside. I know this. I observed many guns left on the field with shells still in them. The soldiers' weapons malfunctioned. When we realized their guns would not work, we used our clubs to strike them down. It was an easy thing, like slaughtering cattle. Some begged for their lives, but we gave no quarter. This picture is a falsehood, like all the white man's pictures of Indian people. Allow me to show you how it really happened. Rain flipped the paper over and sketched a large, sideways SS shape with a pencil. This here is the Little Bighorn River. Our teepees were along these banks, arranged like a curved bow. "How many lodges did you have?" Harry asked. "Very many, more than 10 times 10. We were as countless as the grass. There were perhaps 4,000 to 6,000 of our people, meaning at least 1,000 lodges. Sitting Bull performed strong medicine upon a hill. He brought it back in a pouch on a forked stick and gave a powerful speech. He said the Great Spirit had spoken to him, saying soldiers were coming, but we would destroy them. His words made our hearts strong. The next morning, our scouts told us the soldiers were near. Sitting Bull had the women put up empty lodges to trick the re-scouts. The thick brush and the river's curve hid our true camp. Then Sitting Bull left to make more medicine and did not come back until the fighting was over. He was a great leader, but he did not join the battle that day. Gall was the war chief. Crazy Horse commanded the Cheyennes. Goose led the Bannocks. I was not a head chief, but I led a band of fierce Hunkpapas. We knew the soldiers' horses were worn out, and they were fooled by the empty lodges. They thought we were only a small group. We were ready for them, and we fought fiercely. We knew they had made a mistake when they split their forces. Gall took most of our men up the river to meet them. When we saw the re-scouts stay behind with long yellow hair, we were glad. We let them come over the ridges, and some of our young men blocked their way back. Then we showed our line, and the soldiers attacked. They were pushed back by our fire, and our young men behind them began shooting. We saw some officers talking and pointing, but they all looked alike. I did not see Long Yellow Hair then or later. We heard the Rees singing their death song. They knew we had them surrounded. They got off their horses, and every fourth man held the other's mounts. We tightened the circle around them, sweeping in like a tide upon the shore. We shot the horse holders and scared the horses by waving our blankets. Our women caught them, for the animals were tired. I had sung my war song, breathed the gun smoke. My heart was bad. I was like a man outside himself. I charged in, grabbed their flag, and my pony was killed. I cut the strap, leaped up, and hit the flag bearer with my club. I ran back to our line holding the flag. I was proud. I had done a courageous thing. Our warriors shouted, and we kept fighting. The soldiers' blood and brains struck my face, feeling hot and tasting sour. I was furious, so I found a new pony and charged back in, shooting, cutting, and striking. This pony was also shot, so I took another. That is when I saw Little Hair, and I remembered my vow. I was in a frenzy, afraid of nothing, knowing my white weasel-tail charm would keep me safe. I do not know how many I killed trying to reach him. He recognized me, and I laughed and shouted at him. I saw his lips moving, but the noise was too great to hear his words. He was frightened. When I was near enough, I shot him with my pistol. My own gun was lost. I do not know where. I jumped from my pony, cut out his heart, bit a piece from it, and spat it into his face. Then I rode away, shaking it. I was content and weary of fighting, so I did not take his scalp. I had kept my word, and that was everything. I did not go back to the fight after that. The women came afterward and finished the wounded, taking their things and cutting off their boots for the leather. They even cut off fingers to remove rings faster. They looked for Long Yellow Hair's scalp, but could not find him as he wore no uniform and had cut his hair short. That night we held a victory feast and scalp dance. Sitting Bull spoke, saying, "I told you my medicine was powerful, it made you strong." He claimed the victory, but Gall argued, saying, "We did the fighting, you only made medicine." This caused bad feeling between them. We could have destroyed the other soldiers on the hill, but the argument between Gall and Sitting Bull stopped us. Both wanted to be the main leader, and some men followed each. I did not concern myself with this. I led my own band and followed no one. I was tired of war and wanted to dance. We heard more soldiers were coming with cannons, so we traveled north. They pursued us until we crossed the line. I stayed there until Sitting Bull returned, and I came back with him. I was happy to be home. That is my story. I have never told it to white men before. I am glad I told you. When Rain was done speaking, I asked him, "If you did not kill Long Yellow Hair, who did?" He answered, "I do not know. Nobody knows." It was like battling in a storm. Mac asked, "Why was Long Yellow Hair not scalped like the others?" Rain said, "No man is too brave to be scalped." The women were puzzled why they could not find him. He must have been buried under other dead men. Mac asked about Curly, the Crow Scout who said he got away. Rain said Curly tells lies. He was not in the battle. His pony gave out, and he fled like a frightened rabbit. Rain is now around 60 years old and is the only chief still living who can tell the story of the Custer fight. He can write his name in English, but does not know what it means. His knowledge of English words is small, but he can grasp most of what is spoken. Like other Indians, he appreciates kindness yet to come, not kindness already given. He is brave but has no morals according to your ways. Yet you can trust any promise he gives, though it requires endless patience to get him to give one. Even at 60, he remains powerful and impressive to see, much like the perfect Indian from Fenimore Cooper's stories. Rain's English is limited to maybe 30 words, and he cannot say them clearly, though he understands nearly everything said to him in English. His good quality is that you can rely on any agreement he makes, but it takes immense patience to get him to agree to anything. I hope this direct testimony offers you a different view of the Battle of the Little Bighorn during the Great Sioux War of 1876. Please stay with us for more videos like this one. I aim to share more personal accounts from other battles, so have a good day, and I will speak with you again soon. The story from the man himself, not a historian's reconstruction, but a memory burned into a warrior's soul. So, who killed Custer? According to Rain in the Face, he fulfilled a personal vow against Tom Custer, his true enemy. But George Armstrong Custer, Long Yellow Hair, his final fate remains, even in this vivid account, a mystery lost in the dust, gunsmoke, and chaos. Host, and that is the ultimate power of this testimony. It doesn't give us a neat Hollywood ending. It gives us something far more valuable, a glimpse into the human truth of history, a truth of personal vengeance, of chaotic violence, and of stories that live and die with the people who live them. Rain in the Face died in 1905, taking his final secrets with him. He was, as he said, the last, which means this account is as close as we will ever get to standing on that hillside. Now, it's your turn. I want you to tell me in the comments, number 1, after hearing his story, do you believe Rain in the Face was telling the full, unvarnished truth? Or was this the final, crafted boast of a legendary warrior? And number 2, in your mind, after all this time, who really killed Custer? The history books have their version. Rain in the Face just gave you his. What's yours? Let the debate begin. See you in the comments.